It's 8 o'clock here in Ventnor, New Jersey, in our quasi worldwide headquarters for YAA. And this is Saturday night with Zach and Ray. For those of you who are wondering, this is BB birthday boy or day after birthday boy.
What does BB birthday boy mean?
Birthday boy. It could be Bubble Boy.
Bubble boy indeed. Okay, if you have been following that, everyone in the chat, thank you everyone who is here with us. We've got MD Doc, Thumper Squid, John's here with us. Clamp, it looks like. Strategic Services Dad, Matthew's here, Dana's here, Justice is here in the chat with us. We got a lot of folks. Shannon, Stiggs. Thank you everyone for being here. Mike's here. Oh man, here it goes. Mark's here. Dana's here. Neil's
you already
here.
said Dana.
All right, well there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for being here.
Kevin Soto's here.
Pops.
Yeah.
You are a big YouTube guy, right? You love a good YouTube.
Oh God, yeah. There's nothing's meant more to me in my life than YouTube.
Let me show you something really quick. Let me show you something because you make fun of me for saying I'm Bubble Boy.
Yeah.
All right, let's just do this really quick. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
Like we always do. I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
We're going to search for car bubble.
Car bubble.
It seems like yesterday was the day for everyone to make a video about the car bubble.
Yeah.
The car market bubble is collapsing. The car market bubble just collapsed. Thank you, Graham. Stephanie actually shouted us out in his video.
Yeah.
This guy, who are these people?
Yeah.
Why the car market bubble is collapsing now. Plus what? Dad, another bubble video. Dad, you've claimed that I'm the Bubble Boy. It seems like our message, my message, has finally gotten out.
Yeah.
The auto loan bubble.
Yeah.
People are aware of it.
Oh, the bubble. Yeah.
We even got a new article from our friends over at Barron's.
Yeah.
They're not actually friends, but they made me pay for their subscription so that we could get access.
So that they could call you a friend.
You ready, Dad?
Yeah.
Headline was auto loan defaults ticked higher, what it means for car stocks and the economy.
What does it mean?
Well, Dad, the long and short of it here, what they were looking at, right here, there's a couple pieces. Ally Financial, they were looking at the quarterly earnings from them.
Yeah.
That was interesting. But also, Dad, the CEO of Lithia Motors, he said, quote, due to a building CECL, or due to profitability headwinds at Lithia due to building CECL reserves. CECL is what?
Short for current expected credit losses. Yes, the old CECL, Cecil.
Do you seriously drink coffee out of this? This is massive.
Yeah, but it takes me from like 8 a.m. till 4 or 5 p.m. to finish it.
It's a good hydration technique.
Not really.
It really is.
No, better with water.
So, Dad,
coffee. Yes.
Lithia Motors.
Yeah.
One of the AutoNation's the largest.
Well, actually, Lithia has outsold AutoNation in the second quarter.
Okay, so one of the largest automakers that has a captive lending arm is saying, you know what? We're preparing and putting more money into reserves for loans that we never expect to get paid.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
That they know that they're extending credit to people that can't pay it back. And they know it's okay if they're running it like 2 to 3% delinquency of their portfolio. They're okay with that. They kind of
plan for that.
They kind of plan for that. Now, once that number starts going above 3% and it starts getting to 4 or 5%, then it becomes an issue. Yeah, because they're not planning for that type of delinquency.
We had that also from that same Barron's article. Ally Financial delivered a similar message when reporting quarterly earnings on Tuesday. Pre-tax income in its auto finance unit was down $125 million year over year because of higher provisions for credit losses.
Wow, they know.
We are in Q2 earnings season, and we expect to see more and more reports just like this.
Yes, absolutely. And for any number of reasons, it's just everything is so expensive at the moment that it's very difficult for people to buy their food, pay their mortgage, pay their rent if they're renting, pay for their automobile, pay their insurance, pay for the gas.
We even saw that AT&T CEO came out and said we are actually seeing an increase in AT&T customers who are now late on payments for their phone bills. That's another leading indicator here that there's a financial...
because people can't live without a phone.
But seriously, it puts it also, that's a lot of chest.
You do. I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to wait for people in the comments to say it. I have
to use two hands for this.
Yeah.
It's
No,
really big.
I know. It's like the size of a soup bowl.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, I got it at Target several years ago, which is why where it said this, it used to say this is awesome.
This coffee. Anyway,
Yeah.
Dad, back to the news.
This coffee. Yeah.
Back to the news.
News.
The reality is we are
Yes.
starting to see delinquency rates increase against lines of credit that consumers have.
Yes.
There's $1.4 trillion,
1.3.
$1.3 trillion
out there.
of outstanding auto loans.
Yes.
When we chatted with Lucky Lopez, we have
Yes.
that video, it dropped on the channel today.
Yeah.
He's someone who buys and sells paper. Can you
Yes.
explain what paper is?
Loans.
Bundled loans.
Yes.
So when a dealership or an indirect lender or a lender themselves sells you, this happens with mortgages all the time.
Yeah.
When they sell you the loan, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the one that holds the loan for the fruition, the full term of that contract.
Your mortgage, you sign a piece of paper the day you sign for your mortgage. It says, well, I know your mortgage is with X, but we might be selling it any day now.
And the reason they sell it is to get cash flow today. They can
Yes.
sell that mortgage for 90 cents on the dollar, whatever the math is. And Lucky told us he's seeing banks sell more auto loans right now, more paper.
They're trying to package their auto loans and sell them to third parties or hedge funds,
pension funds,
so that they can mitigate their exposure.
So that they can be. So these are packages of hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of loans all together.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's individual people paying each loan, but they package it up.
Yeah.
And they're selling it to a pension fund.
And they put good paper
and
with
bad paper. And they're
Yeah.
selling it to the pension fund. And you know who's got to worry about all the payments coming in?
Uh,
Then the person now holding the bag.
yeah.
And what Lucky's telling us from what he's seeing is usually they don't sell as much as they are right now.
Yeah.
That's another indicator.
Yeah. Banks normally like to hold on to things that are performing well. So if they're sensing that it's not going to be performing as well, they try and unload some of it.
So then let's talk about this question, Dad, from Mike.
Yes.
And again, tonight, just
Yeah.
ask your questions in the chat. We'll answer as many as we can.
Okay.
Mike says, how
Yeah.
do we make money from the bubble popping? Are there auto line finance stocks to short? I don't know of any. I mean, Ally Financial is an example of a financial institution. I don't know if that's a way to make money during this, but it does make me wonder about, will the prices of cars change significantly if we see a bubble pop in the finance side? If we see more of a bubble pop in the finance side?
if we
Are we seeing cracks in the bubble?
Well, I don't know that bubbles have cracks. If they did, it's a strange bubble. But if delinquencies continue to go up, at a certain point, if a greater percentage of the loans that banks are holding are non-performing to the degree that they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people paying on them.
Yes. So if they figured that, there was going to be a 2% delinquency rate, and if that doubles to a 4 or 5% delinquency rate, then there will be those in the lending side that are going to say, we need to readjust our criteria as to how we approve loans. So what that could mean is credit could become harder to obtain moving forward. Well, if credit becomes harder to obtain moving forward, then dealers won't be able to sell as many cars as they had been, especially at the prices that they've been selling them for.
Yep.
So if you extrapolate it out, you would think that at a certain point, prices are going to have to go down so that more people could possibly qualify for the loans. But who knows? Banks are crazy.
Here we go. Shmanita says, wouldn't the empty lots refill with repos driving down the prices of used and new cars? You would think. And that's actually something that we would anticipate to see happening. And we talked to Lucky about it in the video that came out. The next 60 to 90 days is what we all said.
Yes.
And 90 days plus. I mean, really the remainder of this year. And it's corroborated by, let me pull it up on the screen. We have the latest data from Cox Automotive and also from Black Book, Dad. This headline is totally misleading. Wholesale used vehicle prices increase in first half of July from seasonal adjustment. Then let's read the fine print.
Yeah.
Wholesale used vehicle prices on a mixed mileage and seasonally adjusted basis increased 0.7% from June in the first 15 days of July.
Yes.
Now let's go to this line right here.
Yeah,
the non-adjusted, the non-adjusted price change. The numbers we didn't modify.
Yeah.
in the first half of July was a decrease of 2.2% compared to June. This again is also corroborated by what we're seeing in the weekly market updates from
Yes.
Black Book. Every single week for the past, let's look at the lines, 4 weeks,
4 or 5 weeks,
we've seen wholesale used car prices start to go down.
Yes.
There was a period of time, for those of you who are new to the channel, there was a period of time not that long ago, Dad,
Yes.
where if you had an unsuspecting neighbor who was going to sell a car and you could convince them to sell it to you instead for the same amount the dealer was offering, you could have turned around, gone to the dealer auctions, the wholesale auctions, 2 weeks later and made a ton of money.
Yes. Or as I like to say, a poop ton.
That is no longer happening. We are already starting to see wholesale used car prices come down, and we're starting to see dealers start to negotiate again on retail prices.
Now, and when we say that,
yeah,
okay, that doesn't mean that it's everywhere, that's happening everywhere. There are pockets of the country where you might not see prices coming down. Then there's other pockets of the country where prices are coming down. It can be very regionalized.
Yep.
And so if you're not seeing a decline in prices where you are, it doesn't mean that there isn't a decline in prices elsewhere, and that there could very well be a decline in prices in your area just a little further down the road than what we're seeing in other areas.
100%.
But it would be an indication that at a certain point we should expect there to be a further eroding of retail asking prices, and hopefully dealers being more willing to negotiate on some of those vehicles.
And Pops, we have in the chat here from Cadel, hey, at Justice, just wanted to thank you again for helping me with some questions I had regarding finance applications yesterday in the YAA community page. A great resource. We are not just, I'd hope we're more than just talking heads at this point. If you go to the website, there are an incredible amount of free resources to help you. Join YAA.com, go to resources, go to the YAA community, post and ask questions here. To your point, Dad, things are regional.
Yes.
Post here, see what other people in your area are experiencing. There are well over 10,000 members of this free community where you can get help navigating the car buying process. And I'll also mention that on my to-do list tomorrow on the train is to update our dealer reviews. We have Crowdsourced. If you've bought a car, you've gone to a dealership, you can leave a review of that dealership.
So you don't even have to have bought a deal.
Even if you've just seen cars.
If you've been to the dealership and you didn't like the way you were treated, or you liked the way you were treated, but you still didn't buy a car, you can leave a review.
Go to resources, leave a review, and then we obviously have all the reviews on a map here that you can search and filter through as well, broken down by state, broken down by brand. Let's do one, for example, here, because I want to show folks how easy this is to actually use. Let's do it. Only dealerships that people would recommend. What state do you want?
I don't care.
Your old state of Arizona. Oh, I chose Arkansas, but that also
close
works.
To Arizona.
Let's do Russell Honda.
Not Russell Honda.
And then on all of the dealership review pages, not only do we know what the doc fees are and we can see what someone's review was.
Yes.
We can then view their inventory.
Yes.
From right there. Just click on view current inventory. You can then see all the cars. Then you can also see the out the door price instead of their BS, marked down price. Anyway, long story short, there's a lot of useful information here that's entirely free that if you're not using, you absolutely should.
Oh my God. That, Zach, if you don't mind me saying that sounded like one hell of an infomercial.
Here we go. From SOBC, thank you for the contribution.
Yes,
my Audi Q7 build locked in price at MSRP.
Yay, good job, you.
Pops, what do you make of this from Alex? Hey guys, do you think by end of December this year we can see vehicles at MSRP or below? I've been trying to get a RAV4 Prime, but I've seen them for $5,000 over MSRP.
Well, some inside information that was shared with us the other day, there are chips, and a lot of the manufacturers have chosen, even though they have more chips, not to necessarily produce more cars. They kind of like producing fewer cars, less cars. They kind of like not having to spend a lot of money marketing those cars and putting incentives on those cars to sell them. And the dealers kind of like having a short supply of cars so that they can get top dollar for the cars that they have and try and pre-sell most of them before they ever come in. So if the dealers continue to hold back production on purpose, then the likelihood of new car pricing going down would shrink a little bit, only because supply's still going to be too little.
The whole reason that we're experiencing what we're experiencing is because there is about 1 million vehicles in inventory compared with 3 years ago, 4 million vehicles
Yes.
in inventory. So you've got one, and that in drive down past dealership row. And it actually, down here in Atlantic City area,
Yes.
there were more cars on the dealership lot this time than the last time I was here with you.
Yes.
So maybe we are seeing a bit of an increase in inventory, but still, until that problem gets solved, and we're starting to hear some rumors. Actually, we never want to solve that problem because it's way more profitable to never
Yes.
solve that problem.
Yes.
It's also leading to, Dad, a lot of really egregious and aggressive tactics from dealerships. You mind if I pull one of those up really quick and you can comment on it?
I think I'd love that.
All right, Dad. We had
Yes.
2 different stories in our community forum, both of which were the same exact scenario.
Yes.
This one, Dad, we talked about it over on the Ray and Zach channel, but let's bring it up here. This is interest rate subject to service purchase. I purchased a new vehicle with 0 miles this week, and the quote best rate I was told I could get was 7.9%. As I decided that was too much, the F&I manager indicated I could get the interest rate down to 5.4%, but only if I purchased around $4,400 in service packages, and said this was a condition by the lender
That's
in
a
order
lie.
to get the discounted rate.
Yes.
I am still inside the return window and considering returning the vehicle. Is this practice even legal?
No.
This one pops. Let me go here. This is from Bo. Dealer claims that with my credit score, I have to pay for the extended warranty vehicle service contract. Is this true? And how do I get out of it?
It's not true.
Can we talk a little bit about what you're seeing here, Dad? Because there is a lack of inventory. People
Yes.
want to get stuff.
Yes.
They're getting hit with crap like this.
Yeah. Well, dealers are a very creative bunch, and they figure out ways to make extra money. And one of the ways they figure out to make extra money is, they lie to people. Some of them do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say all dealers lie to people.
This is why we do dealership reviews.
Because all dealers do not lie to people. Some dealers lie to people. And it would almost seem as if the dealerships that lie are in the majority and not the minority. And so when an F&I manager says, I can get you a lower rate of 2.5, I can lower your rate by 2.5 points, but you must buy $4,400 worth of product from me. That's a lie. That's illegal. That's called tied selling. You can't tie the rate to forcing people to buy something they might not have wanted. Okay.
And then to say that it's the lender telling you have to,
and the lender
could care less.
The lender will never stipulate to the dealership that the customer must buy a product, for instance, an extended warranty, in order to be approved for the loan. That's an absolute lie. Okay. The lender approved the amount that you were looking to finance plus a certain percentage for product. And it is the F&I manager's job to convince you that you need that product, not to tell you that you must buy that product to qualify. So, I think the other day I called it lazy finance managers. They'd rather fib.
It's to them, Dad, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Like if you get one, great.
Yeah.
If you don't, what's the law? Now we exist. So we're there's a couple comments here. Go to a local credit union, my dudes. 100% walking in with pre-approvals. And Sean says, help out Mr. Garcia. Well, fortunately, I can say that Miss Kimberly Klein came in here and did help out. We ended up with an update, contacted the credit union, and they can confirm the F&I officer lied and advised I cancel the service plans, then wait for my refund and refinance the loan. They indicated this practice is not illegal, but highly unethical. That's a little bit up in the air.
It's illegal.
So ultimately, he ended up refinancing that loan and canceling the service contract. Same thing here with Bo. So ultimately, happy outcomes. But Dad, this reminds me.
Wouldn't be happy outcomes if they hadn't asked the question on our forum.
If they, seriously, if they didn't watch YouTube videos, become educated, and then post on a forum, this is why. Could not be more proud of the efforts of this community. We are, as a community, shaping federal regulations. We're trying our best. Public comments show overwhelming support for FTC car dealer rules. This was posted in Automotive News, the industry publication, right down here.
Yes.
Several dozen comments came in during the first week, the vast majority in support of the FTC taking action against dealers who are doing things like this.
Yes.
Some credited the Your Advocate Alliance Vehicle Shopping and Consumer Education Company for encouraging them
That sounds
to
like us.
comment. If you go, that
Yeah.
does sound like us. And
Yeah.
thank you to everyone who's
Yes.
commenting and making your voice heard. You go to regulations.gov.
You go. That was a really pretty miserable car when
We
that
are
came
up
out.
to 733 comments. If you've been playing along at home, and
Yes.
Dad, I know you have.
I have.
When we
I've
first
been
started-
playing, not scoring, but
When
playing
we
along at home.
when we
Yes.
first started this, how many comments were there?
Yes.
6?
Well,
9?
50, 55. Like
No, I mean the first
couple.
day. It was like
Oh yeah, there was nothing. And
nothing.
then when Automotive News did the article, there were like 55.
Yep.
And out of the 55, like 10 or 11 of them mentioned us.
And there are a couple hundred people here with us right now. If you can search here. So there's 733. 107 of them are your fellow community members making their voices heard. Someone like David Lott.
Yes.
I strongly support these regulations. The folks at YAA got it right. You got to get the bad guys out. Great.
Yeah.
Make your voice heard. Come in here, share your comment. These rules that the FTC is proposing would make it illegal and enforceable for them to come after dealerships that are doing exactly this.
Yes.
Taking advantage of a situation, Dad, and this is our opportunity.
Well, it's not
to
just
stand up.
taking advantage of a situation; it's taking advantage of the customer.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So it's the customer should come first and foremost. Okay. The fact that we would call taking advantage of a situation, it's taking advantage of a fellow human being when there's really no need to do that to your fellow human being.
100%, Dad. Mark here.
Thank you, Mark.
Happy birthday, Zach. Have a drink on us in your community. Thank you, Mark.
Yes.
I don't really drink.
You know, I got some Dalmore.
All right, I'll drink some of your Dalmore. Thank you, Mark. Very, very thoughtful. Very, very
Yeah.
kind. And Dad from Jay
You know,
Nag and
you
me.
always say, I don't really drink. And then,
Do I really
like when
drink?
we were in Montreal, every night when we went out, you drank.
Did I really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't get the, I don't really drink. I don't like to admit that I drink. That's
I
different.
don't drink.
Okay.
Ask Laura. I don't drink.
Okay.
All right, do a dance.
Oh, my chair's moving. Oh, God. That was my happy dance. Knocking over my candles. I mean, geez, Louise.
I hope the FTC watches that.
Yeah.
They say, who are
Yeah.
these knuckleballs?
Knuckleheads. not
Knuckleheads.
knuckleballs. Knuckleheads.
You did get a shout out from Graham Stephens. Thank you.
Yes.
That was really, really thoughtful. Pops, when is the best time to buy a new or used vehicle?
When you don't need one.
Let's talk a little bit right
Yes.
now, Dad. Right now.
Yes.
So yeah, broad strokes, best time to buy cars when you don't need one.
Yes.
Because if you go in and you say I need one, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. They'll try and take advantage of you.
We're seeing wholesale used car prices start to come down, but right
Yes.
now, if you had to buy new or used, we're still in the camp that I would try and buy new
At
at
MSRP or less.
Unless it's Stellantis, then it's going
Yeah.
to be less.
It should be less. If you're paying MSRP for a Stellantis product, you are paying too much.
Yes. Now, if you're buying a used car, wait
Yes.
those 60, 90 days. We expect to see those repos
Yes.
come in, and you should have better prices. All right, let's see here. Roberto says, bought a used BMW for $2,000 under KBB 2 months ago. How much of a drop should I expect in value?
Well, KBB is not really as accurate a source for vehicle values as some of the others out there. Depending on the year and mileage of the vehicle, typically they would have been depreciating at the rate of probably $250 to $300 a month.
Let's pull up the data, Dad. This is just last week at the wholesale market for different sedans, different
Yes.
types of cars. BMW is going to be a luxury car.
I'm afraid it would be. Yes.
It lost 0.5% of its value, 50 basis points
Yes.
of its value, $149 on average
Yes.
for luxury cars. To start to do the math a little bit, if that's what's happening on the wholesale market, you'd expect actually to see more of it on the trade-in offers that you're getting from dealers.
Absolutely.
And our expectation, and Roberto, just for you to take a peek, anytime you're under this red line, that means wholesale used car values have gone down.
Yes.
Well, we're 4 weeks into it, and we expect, you can see, usually it goes down, then it comes back up, goes down, then it comes back. We're expecting this to come down and stay down because consumer demand is also weakening.
Down. Yes.
Well, if you're going to lose 0.5% every single week, that's going to add up pretty quickly.
That's 2% a month.
It really, really is.
Okay.
It adds up. It really, really does.
That would be about $600.
Yeah.
I can't do the math, but that would be about $600.
From Phoenix Pops.
Yes.
Thank you, Phoenix. Hello, I'm a new subscriber. Any advice on ordering a Ford Lightning? I will be invited to place my order later this summer. Let's talk a little bit about Ford, Mr. Farley, and the troubles, trials, and tribulations of trying to place a Ford Lightning order.
Oh, you can certainly place a reservation. Now,
Ford dealers don't care about Ford is kind of the reality.
No, and the dealerships know that they can charge a huge amount over.
Yeah.
They can get a premium in market adjustment pricing. So they very well might say to you, since they have limited production slots or allocations available to them for the Lightning, that even if you want to order one, we would sell it to you at MSRP plus pick a number. The number might be a $5,000 market adjustment. It might be a $10,000 market adjustment. And you just have to be prepared to try your best to fight them on it, or try and find a dealer that will just be happy enough to sell it to you at MSRP. And that's going to be hard to find right now, because there are many more reservations for Lightnings over the next 2 years than will be built. So they can't even, or they're not, let me rephrase this. They're not even trying to build all the vehicles that they have reservations on. They're only building a percentage. I think it was, like 50 or 60% of their production is actually going towards the vehicles that were reserved, that people have put a deposit on. And the other 40% are being built to go into dealer inventory, so dealers can sell them to whoever is willing to come in and pay whatever it is that they ask for it. If it were me and I was running Ford and I had 200,000 reservations out there on Lightnings, I would make it a priority to build those cars, those vehicles for those reservation holders prior to building any for stock. Take care of the people that have gotten in line, that have either left a deposit or indicated that they want to buy it, and they've built it, but yet you as the manufacturer have not. Take care of those people first.
I know, and just to slightly more practical advice for Phoenix would be go to the community forum and go to the dealership reviews and just ask people who has found the Ford dealer that's actually honoring pricing.
The answer is probably none.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is right now it could be none. I want to address one quick comment here, and then, or actually, let's jump to this first, Ed. We're going to jump here. Someone I saw, there was a comment asking, well, why shouldn't I pay MSRP for Stellantis? New vehicle this is from Cox Automotive from earlier this month.
Yes.
New vehicle inventory days supply inched up to the high 30s in June after being in the mid 30s since January. Customer demand remains strong given continued supply issues. These conditions enabled most dealers to continue selling inventory at or above the MSRP. This is the meat and potatoes here.
Yes.
The average price paid for a new vehicle has been, quote, over sticker throughout 2022. In June, new vehicles from Honda, Kia, and Mercedes-Benz were transacting on average between 6.5 and 8.7% over MSRP.
Mm-hmm.
Put Hyundai, Toyota, Ford, I'm trying to think, Subaru, Mazda, put all of them in that category. Pretty much any Asian brand is going to be transacting above MSRP. On the other side of the spectrum, Buick, Lincoln, and Ram were selling at nearly 1% below MSRP. This is a direct result of the amount of inventory that is in supply right now. The average monthly payment on a new car, Dad, is now $730 because consumers are buying a lot of vehicles over MSRP.
And if I'm not mistaken, our dear friend Space, the other day mentioned in one of the comments that if you're looking for like a Ram truck or something like that, that you can get them as much as 12 to 13% below MSRP, utilizing incentives that Stellantis has on those products. And that goes for a number of the Stellantis products. So you should not be paying MSRP for most Stellantis products.
Now, there are success stories out there. This is in the community forum. Again, community forum, go to success stories. Let's just take a quick peek. 512 success stories. Okay, you can see how other people are doing it. This is from Scott. He says, I have a little patience for negotiation. This is on a 2022 Honda CR-V EX all-wheel drive. I found YAA online and have been overwhelmingly pleased. Live chat gave me very helpful guidance. You can literally live chat with us via chat, via phone.
You and me, but
the team that we have is
yes.
better than we are. We're just this.
We're just the pretty faces.
After contacting multiple dealers and getting quite discouraged, all were finding creative ways of charging $3,000 above MSRP, such as appearance protection. Really, Justice, one of our team members behind the scenes, sent me a link showing dealers that have recently offered deals at or below MSRP. I was starting to become skeptical that I would find such a deal. I contacted 3 of those dealers. 2 responded back. 1 offered a deal at MSRP and 1 $300 below MSRP.
Yes.
Both amazing deals in today's chip shortage inflationary market. I can honestly say that YAA saved me thousands of dollars on a new car purchase. It's really a matter of finding the right dealer to work with. So there you go. I mean, just a perfect example that even in a Honda, it still goes back to who am I talking to? Where am I finding that, that dealer? And if we can help you get to that information more quickly, then that's a win.
Absolutely.
Now, Dad.
Yes.
We've got here. Ace says, we have 200,000 subscribers. We're rich. YouTube is suspect. We are very far from rich. Hopefully someday. Want to do it in a very ethical way by helping people.
Rich.
Every dollar that we make from the YouTube channel goes directly back into trying to build the business. So everything that I just walked through before that I showed 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, 100%. Every dollar that we brought in goes to that. And last time I checked that, we raised, what was it, $4.5 million from venture capitalists last year. Okay, I send out the weekly updates. We've spent an awful lot of that. It's not going up. It's going down. Okay, so I wish we were there.
Yes,
but we got a lot of work ahead of us. We really, really do.
Oh my God! And I wanted to be retired, but apparently not.
Not yet, man.
Okay.
The way you can help us is by now. All right, let's go here to Shannon.
Yeah. Let's get Ray retired.
Yeah. This is from Shannon. Chips are being made. Our fab set a production record last quarter on product shipped last quarter. The goal has been increased for this quarter. Dad, Igor, one of our community members, he's over in Geneva, or was over in Geneva. He's made it very clear chips are available.
Yes, the manufacturers admit that they're getting their hands on the necessary chips. They're choosing not to produce in the quantity that they produced or anywhere near the quantity in which they produced in previous years. So that's the issue. They have decided that it is in their best interests to continue to produce fewer vehicles, so that they can maintain the profit structure that they've been able to maintain, and that the dealers, because and you'll see comments on our YouTube channel, and dealers are saying, well, do you have any idea what the expenses are, the overhead for well, dealerships are making more money selling less cars, fewer cars, than they've ever made. Dealerships are more profitable today in these trying times than they've ever been. Now, having said that, are there some dealers out there that very well could be struggling financially? Absolutely.
Those are going to be the ones that get bought out by bigger groups. Yeah.
Are there others that are absolutely making more money than they've ever made before? Yes. 4 or 5 years ago,
this is wild.
The net profit that a dealership would make usually was somewhere between 1 to 1.5% of the total of revenue that dealership had in the course of a year. Today, in these trying times, that number is running somewhere between 4 and 5%, dropping to the bottom line.
Which last time I checked that 1% to 5%. Let's just use the biggest one.
Yeah,
that's not a 4% increase. That's a 500% increase in the amount of profit. No, think about it. 1% to 4% is 4 percentage points, but that's a 500% increase in profit.
Okay,
that's screwed up.
Well,
I feel justified in every greed title we've ever put in any of our thumbnails and videos, Dad, because that's greed.
Yeah, no, and
new car at Lithia, $6,000 per new car sold at Lithia last quarter.
Yes, and 3 years ago, the average front end gross profit on an average new car sold in this country was about $250 to $300 front end gross profit. Okay, that didn't include what the finance and insurance department might do. And 3 years ago, if they were doing $1,000 to $1,200 per car, so a new car was bringing in somewhere around $1,500 total profit front and back. Lithia is at $6,000 total profit front and back. Now, granted, they're not selling as many cars as they did. Okay. So, yes, they need to make a little more money per car than they did in the past, but you can't convince me that they need to make 4 times the amount that they used to make per car to still remain profitable. And I understand, as a publicly traded company, they have a fiduciary responsibility to produce as much revenue and as much income as they can for their stockholders.
100%.
So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing for the stockholders. But while they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they are taking advantage of the American consumer.
Well, and then there's also quite a few people who are not exposed to what's going on and are just blindly going out and agreeing. My dear friend Elizabeth, her car
Yes.
got totaled. She had to buy a car. She worked with Justice on our team and saved $8,000 because the dealership was so adamant you have to pay these market adjustments. Dad, let's switch gears for a second here. Sean says, you hate Vroom and Carvana because they are your competitors. No, the reason we're not huge fans of companies like Vroom and Carvana are for headlines like these.
Yeah.
State of Texas files a lawsuit against Vroom over deceptive practices following thousands of complaints. The same thing exists for Carvana, who just got their delership license suspended
again
in Illinois.
Yeah. And by thousands of complaints in Texas, it was 5,000 complaints before the Texas State Attorney General decided to finally file a suit against them.
There's an unrelated class action lawsuit as well against Vroom. So no, I mean, the reason we have challenges with this new buy a car online model isn't because it takes away the value that we provide of helping people learn how to negotiate. Guys, there is no negotiating anymore. There's like finding dealers who don't have crazy markups and then like trying your best to negotiate with them. It's not about learning how to negotiate anymore. It's about just having a fair and efficient experience. You go to Vroom, Dad. Look at, I mean, you remember some of these stories.
Yes.
There was, which one was the one? It was this.
Your favorite was where the seat couldn't move.
Yeah. Let me see.
It was as far back as
here
it
is,
could
right
go.
here.
Yeah.
Yet another example quoted a Vroom customer whose new, quote, new car, new to them car, needed $8,000 in repairs soon after buying from the online retailer. In a sad but almost comical case, a customer bought a car from Vroom with the driver's seat that was pushed as far back as it could go without the ability to move it forward. So much for the rigorous inspection process. It was like
somebody like me would have had to grab onto the steering wheel, pull myself up to the steering wheel so I could get my feet close to the pedals. And trust me, I have had to do that in used cars that I've had to appraise where the seat wouldn't move. Okay. Being 5'6", that was a bit more difficult for me than it would be for somebody that, I don't know, was 6'4". So yeah, the reason that we're not enamored with Carvana and Vroom are the issues that they're having. And they
charge an arm and a leg for their cars.
But that's fine if people.
Because it's more convenient. So
if people are willing to pay that arm and a leg so that they don't have to find themselves in an atmosphere where they need to have the negotiating skills, that's fine. That's a choice that the customer made. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is that they're having difficulty in titling the vehicles in the requisite amount of time that states are asking them to do it in. They are packing loans. They are forcing things on the people. They're not even thoroughly checking out the vehicles before they sell them. That's what I object to. Where they'll sell somebody a flood damaged car or a salvage title car, and I don't know, never disclose the fact that it was a flood damaged or salvage titled car. That's fraud. So that's the reason I'm not enamored with them.
Now, and to be very clear, our disdain is actually just against companies that don't practice things in a way that, abides by our principles, the way we think things should be done. NYC says 2 Brooklyn dealerships, quote, ripped off customers will pay $800,000 in settlements. Brooklyn Mitsubishi and Brooklyn Volkswagen were accused of several deceptive business practices in New York. This is another example. This is we're not just. There are great dealerships out there. We can do it every single show and say how great Earl Stewart is down in Florida. We absolutely can. But there are dealerships
or Pacifico Mazda on Essington Avenue in Philadelphia.
Yep. charge MSRP. There's the
Yes.
Subaru dealership in Oregon who charges MSRP. Dad, these dealerships, 7,000 instances of deceptive trade practices, and ultimately this $800,000, 500,000 is a penalty, 305,000 is going back to consumers.
Yes.
Consumers that just got screwed on deals, got products forced on them, didn't realize what they were buying, the whole 9 yards. So the way that we think about this is not Carvana and Vroom versus dealers, but it's just, Pops, question for you.
Yes.
I asked Justice this the other day.
Yes.
How much money do you think we've saved people? Not you and me, but like this vision.
Millions of dollars.
Justice was telling me he was keeping track of just people he was live chatting with.
Yeah.
And he said if a couple more deals close this month, he'll be up to like $35,000 in money saved just this month. We've been doing this for a couple years now.
Mm-hmm.
We've at least a couple $1 million that people have saved just by walking in there and being a bit more educated.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the dealers must really be thrilled with us.
What advice would you have to find a decent $5,000 car? Obituaries?
Obituaries. Literally. I it's a terrible thing to say, but the only way you're going to find a decent $5,000 car is through a private seller, and probably the best $5,000 cars to find would be through an estate sale where, the lawyers put in charge with turning the deceased's vehicle into cash. And typically those get sold for a little less money than they probably should.
Yeah. We've got here from Stan, the fines are nothing more than a cost of doing business for them.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. Napleton got hit with a $10 million fine earlier this year. Coons Kia back in Maryland, a $1 million fine earlier this year. You put it in perspective of how much money they make.
$1 million? I thought it was 100,000.
It was $1 million.
Oh, $1 million.
$1 million fine.
Okay, so what's $1 million?
What's $1 million?
Yeah,
cost of doing business.
Yep,
it really, really is. Daniel, I wish I remembered. It was in an automotive news article. There is one Subaru dealership that they mentioned. I really wish I remember, but unfortunately it's slipping my mind.
I don't remember, but yeah, and the other thing is that they're only looking to sell to their local customers. Every dealership is assigned what the manufacturer calls a primary marketing area, and they are expected to be the leader in sales in their primary marketing area. So this dealer in Oregon, they only want to sell cars to their local customers because they want to build their business for service and parts and all that with the customers that are there, as opposed to taking one of the few cars that they have and selling it to somebody a state over who is never going to come back and do business with them again. So you have to be careful. There are some dealerships that are only interested in selling vehicles in what the manufacturer has defined as their primary marketing area.
Dad from Grease Belly
Bob,
Garage.
I'll answer to Bob. Yeah.
How about the quality of new vehicles? We're seeing issues and hearing about issues. Yeah. And then there are part shortages on the back end of that as well. We also have Beef Taco here saying, what do you recommend when buying a used car? Can I remember I did the infomercial earlier. Deal School. Joinya.com/deal school.
Deal School.
Literally walks you through how to buy a used car.
Yes.
100% free.
Yes.
Please go check out Deal School. All right, Pops. Let's see here. Wow. I see the Arizona Cardinals logo. I have a used car worth $23,000 to $25,000 private party, and CarMax is offering $22,000. Is it a good idea to sell now and buy a new car I want in a few months to a year? Yeah, if you can afford to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trade-in values are going to go down.
They're going to start to go down. If the wholesale prices that dealers are paying at the auction are going down, then dealerships' appraisal values of vehicles is going to go down because they mimic what they see at the auctions.
100%. Beef Taco Dad said he's going to check out, or they're going to check out, the Deal School that we have put together. Guys, Deal School, I couldn't even figure out how to make it give you our email address. Like, I tried to make it so Deal School, the original Deal School one, you had to give us your email address to get access to it. I couldn't figure out how to do that for Deal School 2. So you literally don't even have to give us your email address. You just come in here. These are unlisted videos. These are not on YouTube. I mean, they are on YouTube, but they're unlisted. Key takeaways, relevant resources, and then people in here having conversations about the different chapters as well. And how many chapters did we do?
It
12.
looks like 12.
So please, please, please use Deal School. It's 100% free.
Yeah, how do you find it?
Joinyaa.com/Deal School.
That's it?
Just remember that name.
Couldn't you make it a little harder?
I do for some things, but
Yes, you do.
not for that one. JJO Mint. What about hybrid vehicles? Are they going up or down? Pops, let's look at the numbers. They're
going up.
Scary, man.
Yes.
Let me pull it up on the screen here. The average price paid for a new electric vehicle increased in June by 3.8% compared to May and is up 14% nearly year over year. The average price for a new EV is over $66,000. Hybrid and alternative energy vehicles are selling at just over $39,000 in June, a $3,593 increase over May, and an $8,453 increase year over year. I don't know why Automotive News, or excuse me, Cox Automotive said electric vehicles are $66,000. They are $67,000.
Yes.
We've also got data. I don't have it prepared, but we also have data from Black Book Dad that shows that electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles are retaining their value even more on the used car market, more than internal combustion engine vehicles.
That is the case.
So those are the ones that have the most value in this market.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew, for the kind words. We really appreciate it. And you can see here, George says, went to Deal School, totally worth the watch.
Oh my God.
And
it's free?
We saved Pardeep money. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
You see, we're trying our best to do the right thing.
Car insurance on an EV is more also, isn't it? I don't know, but we actually just launched last week now, Dad, or maybe it was 10 days ago.
About 10 days ago.
We launched our auto insurance marketplace. You just come here, type in a zip code, an auto insurance marketplace. So you just give your info.
Yeah.
And you did this.
I did. Yeah.
And you did not, my dad went through it, you did not end up buying your auto insurance through us.
I did not.
Share your experience.
Well, I went through the whole thing. I got some quotes online. Then the representative called me. We talked a little more. He did a little more research. And he texted me the next day that he found a slightly better rate.
Did he spam call you?
No.
No. You okay. I'm just making sure.
No, not at all.
We don't do spam calls, right?
I don't know what you do, but he didn't.
He didn't
you might, but he didn't. And he came up with a program that it was $60 less a year than what I have now. And my issue is that I am loyal to people that I do business with, because that's what I tried to get my customers to be when I had them. And I wasn't going to sell out my current insurance company over $60 for $5 a month. It just wasn't worth it to me.
But you went through the process. You got the quotes. You had a positive experience.
It was easy to do.
How much more authentic do you need to be? You didn't buy it. That's A-okay. But if you're in the market, you're going to buy a new car. You want to see if you can get your insurance cheaper. Use our website. Get the quotes. See what happens.
Yeah. Either it is less and it makes sense for you to do it, or it's about the same and it makes sense for you to do it, or it's a little more and it doesn't make sense for you to do it. It's a tool. And there's a lot of things on our website that are tools. For instance, for vehicle service contracts, we're not telling you should buy a vehicle service contract. We're letting you know that if you want to buy a vehicle service contract, that you can get a quote from us and you can see what that vehicle service contract would cost you if you were to buy it from us, knowing that we're making $500 profit from what it costs us to what we sell to you for. Now, you can take that very information, that very same information, and share it with the finance manager.
Please do.
When you're looking for a car and they go, well, the service contract is $3,500, and you can go, well, that's a tad bit more than I thought it should be. I've got a quote of $1,383. Yeah, from where? And then you can go through the whole
thing. Let's do a Toyota really quick.
And you can use that to get them to come close to the price that we would charge you, or to beat the price that we would charge you. We don't care. You use it to your advantage if you can. That's why it's available. We're not saying you should buy a vehicle service contract. We're not telling you need to buy a vehicle service contract. We're telling you to shop it so you have better information when the finance manager tries to sell you a service contract.
Yeah, all right. Let's jump back in
Probably
here.
makes us bad people.
Please only ask your question. Zach sees them. He'll get. Yeah, thank you, Justice. I'm trying my best. It's hard.
Yeah.
This is also why we created the form. Tom's got a great question. Dad.
Yes.
And if you want the vehicle service contract, just go to the website, get the free quote. No
Yeah.
freaking spam calls. We don't do spam calls. We don't even require your email address. Anyway, Ray and Zach, why isn't mileage being considered anymore in the pricing of used vehicles? Too many overpriced high mileage vehicles out there. This has been going on for the past year.
Well, part of the reason is because banks have decided to finance or make financing available to more high mileage vehicles than they ever had in the past. 3, 4, 5 years ago, if a vehicle had over 100,000 miles on it, it was virtually impossible to find a bank that was willing to write a loan on it. Well, today that's no longer the case.
Which is why we're talking about the bubble, the beginning of all this.
Yeah.
There are loans that are currently out there. Let's dig back into this. We talked at the beginning about the Barron's article that said auto loan defaults are starting to rise. That's a bad sign. Let's say, Dad, a year ago, a bank loaned on name a car from 2012 that has 150,000 miles on it that pre-pandemic would have been worth 15 grand, sold for 20 grand. The person rolled in a bunch of negative or maybe no negative equity, but products. They're financing $22,000
on a car that was 15,000 that probably should have been 10,000.
So now that person's got that loan for 72 months.
Yes.
Used car prices are starting to go down. That person who had maybe the stimulus check, whatever, had the car, can no longer make payments on it. The bank is going to get that car back. With used car prices starting to go down, there's the delinquency amount or the deficiency amount.
The deficiency balance. Yes.
That car is not going to be worth what the loan. The loan amount's going to be like 30% more, 40% more.
Higher. Most people aren't putting down a lot of money. So that if you have something that's worth 15,000 and you start adding on your taxes and your fees and this and that and some product and you finance $22,000, okay, well the wholesale value of that $15,000 car might have been, call it 13,000. Well, automatically there's a $9,000 deficiency right there. The banks are financing it, knowing that if that customer went bad instantly, they're $9,000 in the hole. They've got collateral.
An asset worth,
They've got collateral that's worth $9,000 or $13,000.
And they got a loan out.
They have a loan balance of $22,000. So they have $13,000 worth of collateral, and they got $9,000 worth of air. Well, when they go to sell that car at the auction, they're not going to get the 13, and they're certainly not going to get the 9,000 of air. So the collateral doesn't justify the loan in many, many cases. And that's what the issue is going to be.
Well, and also partly the collateral is $4,000 in service contracts.
Yes.
BS stuff so talk a little bit, Dad. When you were in the business 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 years ago, you would get a loan.
I was young and I had hair.
You would get a loan as a consumer up to what percentage of the value of the vehicle?
If you were really, really great credit,
the best credit,
you might get 125%, maybe 130% loan to value. And you had to have stellar credit, and you had to have just the most impeccable payment history on all your previous debt. And today we're seeing banks lend at the rate of 150, 160, 170% loan to value ratio.
And we were talking to Lucky, and he was saying he saw that for subprime borrowers.
Yes, which is really crazy because
what do you think interest rates would have been? 30%?
Well, they can't get them that high, but they can get into the low 20s. But when we sold subprime, the bank wanted participation from the customer. And it was, if somebody was a subprime credit situation, typically the bank wouldn't finance more than 90% loan to value. They wanted some equity built in from Jump Street. Today, they know they've got no equity, and they're praying that the customer doesn't go bad. And when they're doing this on cars that have 130, 140, 150,000 miles, and they're writing 5 and 6 year loans, Well, you have to be an absolute moron to think that it's not going to go bad at a certain point, because the car is going to stop running. It ain't going to work, and the customer's not going to make the payment. And whatever collateral you think you had is worth considerably less than what you had hoped it would be worth if the customer went bad. You're just, it's going to happen. It's not going to come as a surprise to anybody. Now, that's not to say that the people that run the banks are going to go, "Oh my God, we were so surprised." No, they're not. I mean, you can just you can look at it with just a little common sense and know. Let's see, it's a 10-year-old car. We're going to finance it for another 6 years. It already has 150,000 miles on it. How much longer is it really going to last? Is it even going to last another 6 years? And the answer probably is no. So, yeah.
And then ultimately, some pension fund that bought that paper, bought that loan from the bank, is the one holding the bag on that.
Yeah,
write it off. It was a bad investment.
Yeah, well,
this is how you see the parallels between this and the mortgage crisis.
Yes. But the difference is the Fed is not as concerned about this
it's only 1.3 trillion.
As they were with the mortgage crisis, because auto loans only represent $1.3 trillion, and the mortgages were what, 8.7 trillion, something like that. It was even though these are huge numbers, 1.3 trillion to the Fed is like, it's nothing. It's nothing. It can't disrupt markets like, well, the mortgage collapse could. So yeah, but we could be in for a really
Cliff's
bumpy
right.
ride.
So what risk does the lien holder have? They can take the car and still hold you liable for the difference in value. Yeah, good luck, because then it's going off to a collections agency to try and actually collect on the $9,000 deficiency balance. Like, it's just going to create it's a terrible system.
If the person couldn't afford to make the payments on the car when they had the car, what makes you think they can afford to make the payments on the amount that they were deficient when they no longer have the car? And somebody once said you can't get blood from a stone. Now, I know in this country we will do everything in our power to, and the bank will turn around and will take these bad loans with these huge deficiency balances, and they will sell them to collection agencies for pennies on the dollar, figuring whatever we can get. And then the collection agencies, they will be on these people and whatever they can draw out of the people just suddenly becomes profit for them, because they're going to draw out of the people more than a couple pennies on the dollar.
Great system we got. All right, let's go. Rick says
it's not really designed to take care of most people,
and it's predicated on, at the outset of it, the consumer getting taken advantage of at the dealership.
Yes,
because it does the dealership care that they packed on an extended warranty. No.
And the truth of the matter is that a lot of it falls on the shoulders of the customers, because customers should be better informed than they are.
But then, Dad, you can make a case it falls on like public schools. Why is our stuff not just everyone should go through deal school? Everyone should go through Finance 101. Everyone should go through just some basic financial understandings, because you spend so much money on your car. And no one realizes. I mean, everyone here obviously realizes.
Yes.
So many people don't realize how screwed you get. I didn't realize it. The only reason I learned it is from the past 2 years of working with you.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem. But as I was about to say, one of the problems. But a lot of this falls on the customer. It's as a customer, it's your responsibility to know better. It's your responsibility to get educated. Okay, and we say it all the time. Knowledge is power. And I've amended that to be applied knowledge is power. Knowledge without applying it is just conversation. Okay? Applied knowledge is power. As a consumer, it's your responsibility to get yourself educated, to know what's going on, to know how things operate in this country, so that you can make a better, more informed decision and use that information that you have to your advantage. You can't and shouldn't just depend on people like us or the FTC or the Consumer Affairs Division at your state attorney general's office to bail you out because you weren't as educated as you could have been or should have been. So part of it is, as consumers, our responsibility to do a better job. part of it is dealers and banks' responsibility to do a better job on behalf of the consumers
Well, yeah.
that they're trying
Set up
to
the systems in a way that they don't take advantage of. And
Yes.
let's be human for a second. Neither of us are experts in like all the other financial stuff.
No.
Like this is our lane. so like get that advice from us. Go elsewhere. Seek out other resources. Dad,
Yes.
let's provide people with one other reminder. Just come in full circle here. We've been on for an hour. The way that we're trying to give back to this community, the way that we're trying to make a difference. Honestly, Dad, I've been thinking about more. My birthday was yesterday. I turned 27. You're
Yeah.
71.
Last time I checked.
I just saw your brother today. He's 79.
Yes.
His birthday soon. This is your legacy.
I was 44 when we had you.
Yeah, you were. This is your legacy. YAA is your legacy. Right? I mean, it really, really is.
Well, yeah.
The bits and pieces of how we're trying to help people. We help people buy cars.
Yes.
Go use our car search. We don't have ads. We don't have dealer lead gen. If you end up becoming a member, you get the live chat. We're here to help you. Help you get an idea of what your vehicle's actually worth. We've just set up the auto insurance marketplace. Hopefully for some of you, it saves you some money. We're doing the VSCs with the flat markup. Those are the things we're doing right now to try and help. Obviously, then all the education back on the YouTube channel as well. I am so excited, Dad, for what this next year of my 27th year brings, because I think we're just going to build an even stronger legacy for you and for us and for what we're building here with YAA.
I would hope, and maybe something that we could look into. And I don't know. I'll just throw this out there, but I've seen comments that we should try and put together a marketplace where members of our community can come and if they're trying to sell a car, they can list the car that they're trying to sell, and other members of our community who are interested in the car can contact them and buy the car.
Do you know how Car Gurus started?
Like that?
It's peer-to-peer. I talked to one of the first employees at Car Gurus, one of their developers early on, because one of my advisors is ex-Car Gurus. You know why they ended up not doing peer-to-peer?
They couldn't make any money?
No, it's not that you can't make money.
Yeah.
Fraud. Because eventually everything goes off platform and fraud.
Yes.
And you can't control it because
Yes.
it's not like you can control someone going to the church, parking lot. I don't think we're going to get into peer-to-peer because I don't think we can actually solve that problem. I don't know how you solve that problem.
No, I don't know how you do it.
I'd rather partner with credit unions and find a way to get them directly to our community so they can go get refinances and pre-approvals and stuff like that. I think there's opportunities on the finance side. And I actually think there's opportunities for us. We make $500 on the VSC right now. I think there's ways for us to make less. I think there's ways for us to make less and help more. I mean it genuinely.
Okay.
We're not ready to do that, but
yeah, well,
maybe if we get to 205,000 subscribers.
I'm thinking maybe your investors would like you to figure out how to make the same and I don't know, stop being a nonprofit organization.
I was thinking about it, and I haven't talked to our investors about this. And I don't know if they're going to watch the stream or anything like that.
Hopefully they have better things to do
hopefully
on
they
Saturday night.
Part of me wonders why I never set this up as a B corporation, which is like a social good corporation, or honestly a nonprofit. Like this should be a nonprofit. I hate to say it out loud, but it should be.
I have an email from one of our members who would be more than happy to try and help you set up a nonprofit for advocacy.
I started my career in the nonprofit space.
I know you
when
did.
I dropped out of college. I went to nonprofit. Dance.
What?
Dance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, buddy. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We'll talk more about this. Sean saying finance outside the dealership. Yeah, I wanna help facilitate that. Okay, let's call it a show, Dad.
Okay.
Thank you for an awesome birthday weekend. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us tonight. Again, shout out to Graham Stefan. I watch his videos.
Yeah.
That was awesome last night. That was a birthday present.
Yeah, that was very nice.
You were on NPR last week. We were in automotive news as a community this past week.
Yeah.
Huge
Go
thanks.
to our YouTube channel real quick and see how many subscribers we have before we.
Sure, we can check.
Because I think perhaps we just crossed 204,000, but I'd like to see for sure.
Hang tight. Let's see.
Don't worry, I'm going nowhere.
Yeah, 204,000 subscribers.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Whose faces just everywhere?
It's like horse poop. It's everywhere.
If you're interested, my dad and I were both over on Instagram. If you go to Instagram, you can check us out. I'll do a quick plug. We are, as a company, at Your Advocate Alliance. And then, Pops, I am at Shepska.
Yes, you are.
So you can follow me there.
Yes.
Look at me. I posted recently, Dad.
Yes, yes, you did.
That's my girlfriend Laura, my friend Logan, his
Yeah.
girlfriend Taylor.
Yeah, I have to.
You and me with our plaque.
Yeah, I have to give Logan a shout out. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Yep, Logan's birthday tomorrow. Gonna
Yeah.
wish him a happy birthday. My sister, her husband, we went biking.
In Montreal.
Oh, whoops.
Whoop,
Whoop,
what?
whoop,
You're not
whoa. I forgot.
You're not supposed to show that one.
Well, it's on the internet. You can go
Yeah,
check it out
yeah.
yourself. And then my dad, he is
Yeah.
at, that was, damn it.
Yeah.
I did that earlier too.
Yeah, you're gonna.
He is at Raz's Jazz.
Yeah.
This is him with his new Mercedes.
Yeah. It
That's
almost,
a lot of green, man.
Yeah, it almost matched my shirts.
That's a lot of green.
Yes.
There he is.
Yeah,
folks.
buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Indeed. All right, pups. Happy Saturday night. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. We will see you all again sometime soon.
Yeah, we'll certainly be back on the Ray and Zach channel Monday at noon with news that you can use from YAA. That's noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And then again, I'm hopeful next Saturday, unless you have plans or something, for another Saturday night with Zach and Ray.
Need more boat shoes pictures. All right, pops, come on. Get on it.
That means I have to get on a boat.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of your